my interest in climate change is I was appointed to work on climate change policy when I was at the White House, and I didn't know much about it. I came to understand that it is probably the most complicated issue that the country faces. It is more complicated than healthcare, and I must say that I'm pretty baffled by the healthcare system in the United States. Climate change is even more complicated. It brings together science, economics, politics, and diplomacy, and in as much as it corresponds with a national security agenda in the United States, also plays into a lot of those geostrategic issues. That said, I think climate change has gone from 10 years ago being something that was thought of as the fancy of our then Vice President, Al Gore, to now being something that the entire world is very focused on as a challenge. And I think it does actually span across both political parties. All of the Democratic candidates and nearly all of the Republican candidates have acknowledged that climate change is a critical challenge facing the country. I think there is a real question about how much and how far candidates from both parties are willing to go. The political salience has certainly risen quite a lot. And if you lay it alongside the energy security challenges that David listed, there is obviously an enormous amount of overlap. That said, there are some real potential divergent points on climate change and energy security. There are 80% of what you would try to do to get this country free from foreign oil, or at least give us a range of choices, would be really good for the climate. 20% of them might not be so good. So for instance, there's quite a lot of debate about whether or not, there's no debate that if we tried to get some of our oil from coal, that would be another alternative to importing foreign oil. Or if we did more drilling for oil domestically, that would be an alternative to foreign oil. But the consequences of both of those things for the climate are really questionable, in fact, probably detrimental. There are a number of things that we really should try to do with respect to climate change that would be neutral with respect to trying to get off of foreign oil. So for instance, well, I don't want to use up the 2-minute time period and we can get into it in discussion. Anyhow, we've got these two overlapping sets of ambitions out there. One to be energy secure, the other is to get away from greenhouse gas emissions. And what I think is really important in the next set of years is that the United States first solve this at home.